Johnny Depp has shared new details on how Warner Brothers removed him from the Fantastic Beasts franchise back in 2020. Roll this up over on phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. So if you recall, back at the beginning of November 2020, Depp announced he had been asked to resign from the Fantastic Beasts franchise after he lost a trial in the United Kingdom against The Sun. And he wrote this over on Instagram. He said, in light of recent events, I would like to make the following short statement. Firstly, I'd like to thank everybody who has gifted me with their support and loyalty. I've been humbled and moved by your many messages of love and concern, particularly over the last few days. Secondly, I wish to let you know that I've been asked to resign by Warner Brothers from my role as Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts, and I have respected and agreed to that request. Finally, I wish to say this. The surreal judgment of the court in the UK will not change my fight to tell the truth, and I confirm that I plan to appeal. My resolve remains strong, and I intend to prove that the allegations against me are false. My life and career will not be defined by this moment in time. Thank you for reading. And the judgment was really surreal because I think the judge said something about the Sun likely did libel him, but there wasn't enough action to make that judgment. It was just bizarre ruling coming out of the UK there. But now in a new interview with The Telegraph, Depp shed more details on how he was forced out of the role. First, he said this: it literally stopped in a millisecond, while I was doing the movie. They said, we'd like you to resign, but what was really in my head was they wanted me to retire. And if we scroll down here a little bit, Jude Law, one of his co-stars in the Fantastic Beasts franchise, had told Entertainment Tonight at the time, back in 2020, that Depp's removal, quote, was unusual for me because, in fact, on this particular role, Johnny had actually only done a day's filming, I think, on his own. So he literally was already on set filming. The judgment comes in from the UK, and then Warner Brothers goes to ask him to resign. They wanted to cancel him. Just totally ridiculous. Clearly, we're trying to push that Me Too agenda, had clearly been captured by the Me Too agenda. And so I think Johnny Depp here saying what was really in my head was they wanted me to retire is accurate. They wanted to completely remove him from the public square. They wanted to make him an example. They wanted to sacrifice him on the altar of feminism, on the altar of Me Too. And that's exactly what they tried to do. But he fought back and said, no, that is not what is going to happen. And he said he was not happy about it. And he shared what his thoughts were at the time. He says, F you, there's far too many of me to kill. If you think you can hurt me more than I've already been hurt, you're gravely mistaken. Obviously, he would go on in that interview with The Telegraph to say that he was talking about the abuse that he suffered at the hands of his mother, which he's talked about in a number of interviews and even testified to in court during his lawsuit against Amber Heard in Virginia. So really glad that he did continue to fight and would not be sacrificed on this altar of feminism and the altar of Me Too, which we know now, we see now what it really became, right? It obviously became co-opted, and it was used by the feminist movement to remove people from power and try to get their people in those positions of power so they could push that agenda even further throughout society and culture. And we know feminism is an absolutely evil, sick movement. And that's what they did. And they got a lot of people. They got a lot of people with it. Now, obviously, there are some things that I think were legitimate, but I think a lot of that was clearly fake and not true. And they tried to destroy people's lives with that. And one of the reasons they were so successful is because you've got people like Jude Law buying into this type of mentality. And he shared what that mentality is in that interview with Entertainment Tonight, where he said, in a franchise like this, it's the studio and the company that make the big decisions, and you have to go along with those because we're just a member of the team. You absolutely do not have to go along with those, especially when they are wrong. You can say, no, this is not what I signed up for. This is not acceptable. You can leave. But in many cases, people don't do that because we live in a society of cowards, and we do. Lots of people lack the courage to say no when there is something wrong that is actually happening. They just buy into this. We just have to go along with those because we're just a member of the team. What an absolute terrible way to live your life. You should not be living your life because we know what the difference between right and wrong is, and we should always choose what is right. We should not be choosing what is wrong because it is the easier or simpler thing to do because we won't be facing any kind of repercussions. We should be choosing what is right, no matter the hardships that we will face. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.
Why would you be afraid of the people? Why are you not afraid of God instead of man?